Well, it's really amazing to see all the diversity here. We have elementary school students, a high schooler right here, my dad, seniors, and Varun, who's in college right now. So we're gonna get started with the slides. I'm gonna quickly set something up right now. All right, there we go. So do know there's gonna be time for questions at the end. So we're gonna have a lot of interactive and engaging discussions happening, but I'm gonna start sharing the slides and I'll pass it on to my dad.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sachin. I appreciate it. Hey, thanks everyone for joining. This is our very first session for Three Doshas. Three Doshas is a name that we took, and there's a lot of inspiration behind the name. And the tagline for our concept here is the basics of living. We're going to go over what basics of living is and how it makes sense in the Three Doshas concept. So I'm super excited. I'm excited because I see different age groups here. I know some of you are going to be experts in this. Some of you are going to be hearing it the first time. So my hope is that we can make this fun and interactive. And I'm so glad that Sachin's here with me, because I'll do my talking at a lecturer style, and then Sachin will actually do everything in terms of making this fun. So let me get through my content, and then we'll go over, some fun facts about all of these ideas. All right, Sachin, next slide.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so first, before we start, I wanted to share with you responses we got as you all signed up, right? So we asked the question, which element do you think you have the most of? And the responses, we got about 18 responses. Everybody said, hey, I'm either air, fire, or water. We got 40% air, 6% fire, 20% water. And most of you, a bunch of you did not know who you are, which I think is awesome and great, because I think the idea is to understand what these elements really are and what they mean. So if there's one thing we'd like for you to take away from today's session, it's just understanding these three things: air, fire, and water. If you can understand air, fire, and water, these are the basics of living elements, and this is what defines everything we do. So let's get right into the content and show you what this means.
Yeah, before we go to the next slide, I do want to explain that these colors are not just random colors, they actually are color coded. So air is white, and that's Vata. Fire is Pitta, we have that in red, and water is Kapha, and water is, well, in real life, water is clear, but water is blue and like cartoons, so we chose blue for that color. I'm not sure, it's just green, and that's 33.3%. And I know it's a big chunk of the pie chart. I am not sure, but that's actually nothing to worry about. That's why you're here today, and we're excited to have you. All right, next slide.
Okay, so I'm sure all of you asked the question at your individual level, how come I'm at my peak performance some days and some other days I'm in complete lull? Why do I react in certain ways that I can't understand sometimes? How do I bring that optimal performance or balance or alignment in my life? And I'm sure you're thinking about that at an individual level, but you also probably think about at a group level, and the group could be your family, it could be your community. You must be asking yourself, hey, how come my team, you notice that there are certain people that have unique gifts or unique strengths. Certain people are super hyperactive. Others stay calm and collected all the time. Some people are driven by competition. That's what wakes them up. That's what gets them going. And other people don't like competition at all. They're only into collaboration. They want to see harmony. And you must be asking yourself, how come not everybody's built like me? Why can't everybody be like me? And I think these are great questions. And if you're asking these questions, you're actually on a journey, which all of us are on. And I think if you want to get answers to these questions, next slide, Sachin, I think the best way to go understand who you are is to get all the answers from Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is a very old, some people argue it's 10,000-year old, it's 5,000-year old. It really doesn't matter, but it's a very old, or I should say the very first life science. Ayurveda literally means life science. And the whole concept of Three Doshas, or our basics of living concepts that we're going to talk about, the inspiration of it all comes from Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is, just like the Vedas, it's really universal wisdom. It isn't necessarily tied to any religion. It isn't necessarily tied to a certain types of people. It's universal wisdom that has been given to us from the rishis. And understanding Ayurveda is like understanding gravity. We all know what gravity does. It's like the knowledge that was always there and it's always going to be there. The concepts are easy, but it's really hard to understand them sometimes. And once you understand them, you can apply them in all aspects of your life. So I'm sure some of you young ones are probably saying, this word Ayurveda is kind of interesting. I don't know what it is and why should I know about it? How is it going to help me? So for all you young ones, just think of it as it's a completely, extremely well-developed science. And I literally mean this. It is a science. If you spend the time to understand, it's a science that has been perfected, I would say, over generations and generations, that explains to us how we are built at an individual level and why each one of us is so different, right? The questions in the previous slide we talked about are, why are we so different? So if you really want to understand who you are, what your natural tendencies are, what your natural gifts or abilities are, why you have certain habits and why you have certain quirks, it's important to understand the concepts of Three Dosha and the basics of living that help you understand why you are. And once you understand who you are, you can then understand how others are, right? So be open-minded about understanding Ayurveda. It explains all of our human patterns and variations and why we are so different in a defined group or at an individual level. Next slide, Sachin. So let's go right into the concept. The concept of Ayurveda comes from that all of us, every single thing that you see around you is made out of the 5 elements, right? And the 5 elements in Sanskrit are called PANCH-MAHABHUTAS, and they're space, air, fire, water, and earth, right? And you can see the Sanskrit words underneath: Akash, Vayu, Tejas, Up, Prithvi. And each one of them have certain attributes associated with it. So air has movement, fire makes us go through transformation, water and earth give us structure and lubrication, and space is just space. And if you really understand that everything, I mean everything, plants, animals, us, any objects you see around you are all made out of these elements. And this is knowledge that's been around forever and ever. So such a next slide. And the people, you know, on Ayurveda said, hey, 5 things are usually pretty hard for people to understand. How about we break it down and take our 5 basic elements and actually break it down into 3 greater elements? So they came up with the concept of 3 greater elements being the space and air. They converted into one element called greater element called Vata, fire and water into Pitta, and water and earth into Kapha. So these are again Sanskrit words: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Now I know some of you young ones are not going to like these words. So what we've done is we've actually created some, colors coding again. So Vata is air, Pitta is fire, so it's red, and Kapha is blue as water. So these are the 3 greater elements that explain all of our biological energies. So you must be wondering, well, why should I care about these funny words, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha? Sachin, next slide. So you must be asking, why do I care about these doshas or these states? You have to understand the doshas because that's how you understand who you are and how you are connected to the natural forces of nature. So everything mirrors these 5 elements. You mirror the 5 elements. Today's weather mirrors the 5 elements. Everything around you, people, animals, plants, mirror these 5 elements. And once we understand who we are, we then connect with everything around us. And that's how we understand our happiness and well-being depends on our interdependence with everything around us at a natural level, right? So next slide, Sachin. So again, I shared, we've simplified for you what these 3 greater elements are: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And we've, first time actually I shared this with Sujay and Sachin, my sons. They said, Dad, I'm never going to remember these words. So what we did is we actually gave it color coding. So air, fire, and water with color coding, air being white, red being fire, and water being blue. Okay, so understand these 3 things. Air, fire, and water are the 3 greater elements you always need to understand your state, your biological state, or your biological energies. Okay, next slide, Sachin. So this is a concept that comes from Ayurveda, that all of us at the time of our birth, right, we're given this Three Doshas balance state, meaning when you were born at birth, nature made you have a concoction or a different constitution that had different elements of air, fire, and water. So the orange star in the middle is representing who you were at the time of your birth, right? So you were in this Three Doshas balanced state. Now, as you've been growing up, as you interact with the world, right? And as you interact with all the forces that come upon you, you start moving from your balanced Three Dosha state in the middle over to having more air, more fire, and more water. So you're essentially moving from the orange star in the middle towards the yellow stars. And these are the nature, this is the nature that's pulling you into different directions, right? And this particular piece is actually showing with you, when we talk about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, we're talking about the states of our body, right? The states of our body is moving from our balanced state into air, fire, and water states. And each one of them are either pulling us or pushing us into different directions. So Sachin, next slide. So I explained the Three Doshas of the body. There are also these things called the Three Doshas of the mind. And these are called ManaDOSHAS, right? And ManaDOSHAS has another name. They're also called TRIGUNAS. But for now, just understand that there's Three Doshas of the body and Three Doshas of the mind. Now, interestingly enough, our mind operates just the same way as our body does. And these Three Doshas of the mind are called Satva, Rajas, and Tamas. Again, Sanskrit words. But let's simplify them and call it air, fire, and water. Air being white, fire being red, water being blue. So why do we care about these three doshas of the mind? The three doshas of the mind operate just like the doshas of the body, and they govern our mind or our psychic complex, right? And awareness of our mind, just like awareness of our body, is also very important to understand which state we're in so that we can then connect with ourselves and connect with the nature around us. So that's the next slide. So Three Doshas balance of, again, same thing, balance of the mind is exactly the same way. At the time of your birth, you also had a very balanced state that you were born in, which is the orange star in the middle. And then again, nature's forces, nurture's forces are pushing you into different directions. So your mind is constantly moving, into more air, fire, or water space, right? And it's important you understand when you wake up that you're actually in a certain state. You change your states throughout the day. Your mind is constantly wandering, right? At the time of your birth, you had a certain mind, but obviously your mind today has absorbed so much of the world. So you have to ask yourself when you wake up, where is my mind taking me? Is it taking me towards more air, fire, and water? And we'll explain what air, fire, and water are, in some of our future sessions. But I think at the highest level, understand that air has the movement property that we talked about in the first slide. Fire has the transformational properties, and water has the grounding properties. So when you wake up, or your mind at any time of the day is going through a lot of movement, meaning you're absorbing a lot of things in your mind. Your mind is also transforming. When you start doing things versus just thinking about things, you're actually having your mind move your mind into your body by saying, hey, stop thinking about things you've been watching on YouTube. Let's go do something about it. You're going into the fire state. And then when you're actually reflecting back and thinking about this and grounding yourself into an experience that you fully have done, you're actually moving into the water state. So again, just understand your mind and body are constantly moving through these states. And it's important to understand what your balanced state is and how you're constantly moving in these states. So Sachin, next slide. Okay, so the whole concept of Three Doshas, or what we call the basics of living in balance, is about understanding what we explained. The three doshas of the body, right? Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Again, air, fire, and water. Don't have to get complex with Sanskrit words. Or three doshas of the mind, which is Rajas, Tamas, and Satva. Okay, but the whole concept of life is, hey, you have three bodily doshas, three mental doshas, right? And if we can combine all the mind and the body doshas together, right? The objective is to first balance your body doshas, then balance your mental doshas. And if you combine all of them and keep them all in harmony, you actually have the perfect balanced state of not only your body, but also of your mind, which puts you into a perfect Three Doshas balanced state, or the state that you were born and you had the natural tendencies towards when you were born. So the whole concept of basics living is to put Three Doshas balance, which is balance of the mind, body, and the spirit all together. So I think that's pretty much it for today. We're going to explain more about each one of these states and how people go in and out of these states. So hopefully that helps you understand some of the concepts. And I want to turn it over to Sachin because he has some cool, exciting things to take us through. And I want to make sure we get through that.
All right, folks, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. I don't know. This is a lot of stuff to take in. I didn't really understand it. Don't worry. The first time I learned this, I told my dad, this stuff is amazing, but I didn't really understand all of it. That's why you're here. Don't understand like everything you learned today, you need to know. Like you might be thinking, what is this guy talking about? You can't have fire in your body or air or water in your body. So as a beginner, because I'm currently a beginner, I'm going to explain it in the most simple way I think I can. And then I have something planned. I think, wow, a lot of more people are joining. I think Hitansh, welcome. Simran, welcome. And I think someone, Gokul, just joined right now. So for the new people that are joining, thank you so much for joining. If you're joining right now and you missed the presentation, we actually just ended the presentation. Don't worry, because this is going to be on YouTube and people watching on YouTube. That was the presentation. We hope you enjoyed it. So pretty much think about it like this, right? There are three doshas, which is the name of our company, TRIDOSHAS, Three Doshas. And there's Vata, Pitta, Kapha, right? And personally, I'm an entrepreneur, so I like taking this example as like what how I understand these three doshas. So think about it like you're an entrepreneur, right? You have everything, you have all the money you have, you're on Forbes, you're on all that type of stuff, and you want to start a new company to make millions, right? Think about it like those thoughts of like how I can create this company or what I'm going to do to make customers, how to satisfy customers, how to reach my target market. All those thoughts on how you're going to create a company, how you're going to get users, how you're going to engage people. That's the Vata, because you're thinking about it, it's your thoughts, right? And then think about, you can't just keep thinking, because anybody can think. I can think about a business idea, but if I don't execute with it, then nothing will happen, right? So you think about it and then you execute and you take the next steps, and that's the Pitta. And think about that as a fire, right? So you have your thoughts, which is a Vata, and then you execute, which is like your fire. And you can think about it as like your drive, like you're on fire, you're working hard, you're grinding, and you're trying to achieve all your goals. But if you think about it, if you have a business idea, you work towards it too much, you're going to go crazy. You have to also take breaks. You can't work the entire day. There's 24 hours in a day. You also have to take breaks and relax. So if you get that fire out of control because you're working so hard, that fire goes everywhere. And then let's just say, I don't know, firefighters are gonna have to come or something, right? Because they'll get out of control. You'll start, this is obviously not a true story, but maybe like you'll start burning stuff, burning houses, things are gonna get ruined. So how do you prevent, like if you're so motivated on something, you just want to get it done, you just want to work so hard towards it, and it's a good thing, you're passionate about it, you really love what you're doing, and that's a good sign, but you also have to take control of it, and that's your Kapha. And Kapha is like your grounding, your growth, like sleeping, right? So if I had homework to do last night and I stayed up all night and I just did the homework, I wouldn't have the energy I have right now to talk like this. I'd be like, hey guys, welcome. Dad, you want to do the slides, right? So the reason I have this energy is because I had a good day yesterday, right? Yesterday was Friday. Friday is my favorite day. Went to school, got my sleep, everything was in cycle, in balance. And that's why I'm able to do this. But pretty much that's the simplest thing. Don't get overcomplicated. When I heard my dad saying this, I'm like, Dad, I don't know about this idea. It's kind of complicated. People are going to say like, I don't know. It's just a little hard for me to understand. And it's the basics of living, right? Instead of I was kind of just avoiding it, and I was pretending like, yeah, it's too hard, I don't want to learn it. And then I'm like, okay, let me just be nice to my dad, he's passionate about this. So then I actually took time, and it wasn't even that long, it was only like an hour of actually looking into it and understanding what it was, and then I actually understood it. So that's why we called it the basics of living. Ayurveda is a lot of people associate Ayurveda, and not to be stereotypical or anything, but Ayurveda is typically something that like old spiritual people are into, or like you can't be a kid and enjoy this type of stuff. That's actually false. Ayurveda is for every ages, right? I'm a high schooler, and Ayurveda has helped me a lot. So think about it as like, it's not even like something like rocket science. You have to like read these like spiritual books from like 5,000 years ago and like watch documentaries and all this type of stuff and like master it. It's very simple, right? And if you keep coming back to these sessions, our goal is for you to master the basics of living, and it's simple, and this can really you can really transform yourself, right? You can figure out, why am I feeling how I'm feeling? You can figure out so many different things about yourself. We all go through different emotions. This is really, I'm actually giving you guys, we're going to have a small fun type of quiz thing, so you should be paying attention because I'm kind of giving answers away. But Ayurveda does have to do with herbs and medicine. It's a mental health support. It's also a lifestyle. So it's pretty much everything. And don't think that, I think a lot of people think that, oh, I'm following Ayurveda and people are seeing like, oh, I'm like using like Ayurveda services to do the basics of living. There's probably like, don't think that Ayurveda, if you're using it, there's something like off or wrong with you, right? Ayurveda is for anyone. It doesn't mean like, oh yeah, you're like depressed, so like learn Ayurveda, your life will transform, right? We're not therapists. This is nothing like that. We're pretty much just getting knowledge that has been here for like 5,000. Actually, I heard from a friend is actually 10,000 years old, this knowledge. And we're taking that, making it basic. And we really want to transform everybody on this call to make you guys the best possible human being you can be, and really achieve your goals and bring yourself to that next step. If you want to be anything you want to be, I want to be an entrepreneur. Vivan, I don't know what Vivan wants to be. Vivan, do you want to share what you want to be? Anika, want to share what you want to be in the future? I can ask you guys to unmute. See, I'm actually interested about that. Vivan, what do you think you want to do in the future?
I want to be a chef, and Anika? I'm not sure what I want to be. I haven't thought about that yet.
No, Vivan, are you just saying chef because you made an omelet this morning, or are you actually passionate about it?
I'm actually passionate about it.
All right, I love that, man. Keep it up. That's awesome. I love cooking. So pretty much this is gonna, obviously, if you already have a job, right? Some of you guys are already retired. This is not just for like young people like me, like, oh, this is just for like young people like Sachin that are like full of energy and motivated. I don't think this is for me. It's not anything like that, right? It's for any ages. Anyone who wants to learn this can learn it. And we highly suggest and highly encourage you to come back to our future sessions. So I'm gonna stop talking because you guys have probably heard me talk a lot, and my dad. We're gonna do something fun. Have people here played Kahoot? You can just like raise your hand if anyone. Anika, Vivan, awesome. Do you guys want to explain how Kahoot, the game, works to the audience?
So Kahoot works when you join the game with a barcode. So you type on your search engine Kahoot.it or something. Yeah. Kahoot.it.com. Yeah.
No, it's just
Kahoot.
Yeah.
And then you enter in the PIN. Sachin Bhaiya will give you the PIN. So the questions Sachin Bhaiya will share, and the answers will appear. So let's say orange, let's say there are 4 boxes: orange, blue, green, and yellow. Yellow is Y, X, green is red, green is X. And between green, X and Y, you have to choose. You look back at the question, you see which one's correct, you go back to your screen and click on it.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So I'm gonna get the game started. Let me share the slide. So yeah, again, this is the link you have to go to. I'll actually figure out a way to put this in the chat. You just go to kahoot.it, and then it'll ask you to put a pin in. I'll give you the pin right now, and you enter that pin. So this is like a quiz. This is not a test, right? Don't think of this like a test. It's the weekend for me. I'm not thinking about tests right now. I'm only focusing on this, right? Focus on the present moment right now. Instead, I can be worrying about the past right now. Like I could have got my teacher mad on Friday, right? But I shouldn't be worrying about that right now. Or I can say in the future, like, did I actually even do a good job today? Like, what if people didn't like it and they're just smiling and they're pretending they're liking it, but they're actually not? So I could be in so many different places right now. But the reason I'm saying this is be in the present right now. Just focus on the questions. Think about the game. The questions are not that hard, but again, it's not a competition. There is going to be a leaderboard. There's going to be like first, second, third on the podium. This is not a competition. I know Vivan's going like this because he wants to win. He's already getting competitive, but I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to put the pin. Is everybody on kahoot.it? I'll show it right now. Here's my phone. I can just open Safari, and it's KAHOOT It. You can do this on your phone or computer, and it should look like this, and it should be asking you for the game pin. I'm gonna put that up right now. So if you're on Kahoot.it right now, you can just like move your hand up on Zoom or something. Okay, and I'll give you the pin right now. Give me 1 second. And for the people who just joined, anyone want to introduce themselves? Suryansh, do you want to introduce yourself? I remember we chatted about this on Slack, about the event.
Oh yeah, my name is hi, my name is Suryansh. I'm from India. Uh, what can I say about myself? I am basically fond of mathematics, and if I would talk about Ayurveda, this is basically all my life since I live in India. So, but yeah, there is always more things to learn from each other and experimenting too, because yeah, Ayurveda is also about experimenting. It's not just about accepting things. According to me, it's also about experimenting and testing if that works for you or not. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to share my screen. The pin is going to be on my screen. You just enter the pin and then you're going to be in the game. Put your name. You can put your first name, your last name. Just make sure it's your real name so we know who you are. And then also, we'll see your name on my screen. Once you join, you'll see like, okay, if Karan Bhai just went in, it'll say Karan on it, right? So that way you know you're in the game. Again, make sure to use your real name. If it's not your real name, I don't know who you are, so I'll probably just remove you from the game. Don't put some funny name like Ayurveda sucks 444 or something like that, because like, don't do anything like that. Okay, let's start the game. So classic first play one. Okay, it's gonna be one-on-one. Get ready to join. I'm gonna share my screen, and here we go. All right, here's the pin. You can put the pin in. I'm gonna share the sound from my computer. Awesome. All right, people are joining. Let me join. Okay, 515306. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me better now. I'm gonna start the music again soon, but we're gonna start the game. 8 people are on. You can also join during the game, and yeah, fix this. There we go. Let's get started. Yep, the answer is that which gets out of balance. So let's see who's winning. Okay, nice, nice. Let's go. Next question, true or false? Three people said true, 5 people said false. The correct answer is true. Okay, Varun in first place. I see you, man. Which greater element causes babies to sleep most of the day? 3 people said too much Kapha, water. 2 people said too much Pitta, fire, and 3 people said too much milk, food. The correct answer is too much Kapha, water, because as I gave you guys that hint, that Kapha is your growth, is your sleeping time, and that's what babies are currently in when they're growing up. That's why they sleep so much. Okay. Oh, Dad. Dad's getting competitive. I see how it is. Dad's in first place. Nice. Okay. True or false? Serial entrepreneurs likely have lots of Kapha, water element. 4 people said true, 5 people said false. The correct answer is false. They do obviously have, everybody has the elements inside them, but they're probably the most on Vata, because serial entrepreneurs, what they do is they start multiple companies and they might sell their companies, but they keep thinking about new ideas, and those thoughts and ideas are Vata. So the correct answer would be serial entrepreneurs likely have lots of the Vata element. Next question. Okay. Dad's on a streak with 3 correct answers in a row. All right. And then we have, oh, okay, people are getting up there. Nice. All right, quiz. What time of the day is your Pitta fire element the highest? Three people said afternoon, 5 people said morning, no one said evening, 1 person said night. Dad, do you want to go over this quiz question?
Okay, so thanks for unmuting me. Yes, so no, this is a great question, I think, Sachin. What time of the day do we think the fire element is its highest? I think it's highest. So in the morning when we wake up, we actually wake up with lots of ideas. The moment you wake up, you start thinking very fast in terms of what do I want to do? What do I want to get done? And I think that's a lot of the Vata stage. When you're actually sleeping, you're in Kapha stage, like Sachin mentioned, but in the afternoon, you're at the peak of your fire state. And that's why you're usually eating a lot, you're moving a lot, you're doing a lot. Between 10 to 4 p.m., 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the state when you're at your highest fire element, the most productivity, the most transformation. Awesome.
Next question. Let's go. Okay, let's see who's, oh, nice. Dad, how does it feel? You're getting lower and people are getting higher. All right, next question. Let's go. True or false? When you wake up in the morning, you're full of Vata air. Is that true or false? Five people said true. 4 people said false. The reason it is true is because when you wake up in the morning, you have so many thoughts, right? Shoot, I didn't wake up. My alarm, I just slept through my alarm. Am I going to be late? I don't know what's going on. Or I mean, that's just personally my experience every morning. I need to work on that. Others may actually wake up on time when the alarm rings. But when you're waking up, you're thinking about the day, right? Like, okay, I got my work done yesterday. I'm going to go in the office today or go to school today. Hopefully my teachers like the homework I prepared for my test. I'm going to do my test. You're thinking about stuff. And then you just wake up, you're a little tired, you have like stuff on your eye, you're just getting into the day, right? But while you're in the day, you're thinking like, okay, let me go. You probably have a routine. So every morning I drink milk, I use the bathroom, and then I get ready and go to school. So you're thinking about your routine, you're thinking about what time it is, you're thinking about how am I gonna manage to get everything. You're actually not, because you're so tired, you don't realize all the thoughts. But if you wake up if you have to be somewhere at like 8 a.m. and you wake up at 7:30, you're gonna know, okay, I better speed it up, right? But if you wake up earlier, you're gonna know that, okay, I'm just gonna chill, take a nice shower and relax and eat my food and then go. So you're actually thinking about a lot of different things in the morning. So that's why you're full of the Vata and air element. All right, next question. And wow, this podium looks amazing. Okay, which activity increases your Vata air element? Might be a tough one, but just do your best. Okay, 4 people said too much social media, and 5 people said too much sleeping. So sleeping would be increasing your kapha because your kapha is your grounding and growth stage. The reason it's social media is because when you're on social media, you're thinking like, oh, this person's life must be so good, right? And that's actually also a big issue connected with social media. Because if you think about social media, no one's posting their bad moments, right? Everyone's just gonna post like, oh, I went to this trip, I just won this award, I just did this, just did that. No one focuses on how they got there or all the time and effort and hard work it took them to get there. Or if you see a celebrity, they're verified, you know, they have such a big following, they're probably like have such an amazing life. They do a lot of work, they do a lot of stuff to get to that point. So what like I was saying, this is Vata because when you're on social media, it's actually not just negative, right? I mean, I love social media. I know there's all these people like, oh, get off social media, it's so bad for you. I do think there's pros and cons of social media. I honestly love it because I'm a promotional marketing type of guy. So I do my outreach on social media. So that's why I like social media and I like showing people what I'm doing and stuff like that. I'm just extroverted, so that's what I like doing. But social media is Vata because you're having thoughts, right? You're not just when you're watching a video and scrolling and looking at posts, you're just saying, oh, look at this, what a nice, you're thinking, oh, this guy is probably like has all these friends doing all these things, and look at me, I'm sitting here on my bed with my neck sideways and I don't know what I'm doing. So it's something like that, right? But that's not how it works. People just show what they just show their highlights, right? Your life is good, just love life, and just enjoy what you have. We're all really blessed that we actually even have this computer to be in a Zoom call, and we have an international call. We have someone from Canada, people from India, people from the US. So I'm super excited. Hope you guys are excited too. We should be grateful for what we have and just trying to make ourselves better. We all make mistakes, just learn from the mistakes and then just become a better person than you were yesterday. Next question. Okay, true or false? Attaining full balance of your 3 doshas is easy. Is that true or false? Four people said true, 3 people said false. Dad, do you want to explain why it's false? Because people might say, hey, I'm just really smart. I don't know what's going to be easy for me. So what do you want to say?
Yeah. No, this is a great question, Sachin. Thank you. I think everybody thinks the basics of living or Three Doshas is very easy, and it is easy. It's easy to understand it, but I think the application of it gets hard, right? I think sometimes I get confused. You know, am I having too many Vatas or too many fire moments, right? Like Sachin was explaining, it can get confusing, but at sometimes we all need the time to reflect and understand what it is that we really are too much of, right? A lot of times we have a lot of balance, but a lot of times we also have a lot of either element. Thoughts are too many thoughts. I'm not taking time to actually crystallize my thoughts or have clarity on my thoughts. I'm doing too many things. I'm doing 50 things in a day versus having to do 5 things in a day and do them well. Or I'm sleeping too much, or I'm just being lazy. I haven't done anything. So the application of it, attaining that full balance gets very hard. And as we go into our future sessions, I think we're going to share with you how each one of these elements get more and more complex, right? We're only explaining today at a basic level, but imagine if you take this to your mind and the body and how the interconnections are, you'll understand how hard it is. Sometimes it's the easiest things that are the hardest things to do. So I think you'll learn that as you go through.
Awesome. Next question. Wow. Streak with 5 correct answers in a row. That person's on fire. Nice. Next question. Ayurveda is, let's see, this one is. Okay, nice. I guess I remember talking about this. So to the 6 people that got it, thank you. Thank you. Feel good about myself. But obviously, if you got it wrong, don't worry about it. It is a healthy lifestyle. So if you selected herbs and medicine, a mental health support system, or a healthy lifestyle, you are correct. But the correct answer is all of the above because it's all of those. It's not just one of them. All right. This is gonna be last question. True or false? Is Ayurveda beneficial like teens like Sachin? This is just the easiest one. Hopefully everyone gets it right. Yes, okay. Wow, everyone got it correct. Nice. It is true. It's helped me in a lot of different ways. Oh, and it's also been it's been like support for me when I've been in my lows because I have highs and lows. So I think that Ayurveda is something really important to me. Okay, time for the podium. Let's see. Third place got a nice job. Second place, Amit and Vivana Anika. And first place, we have Miss Sujanya. Awesome job, everyone. Congrats. Runners up were my dad and Simran, so good job to them. Um, that was fun. Um, did my dad just get kicked out of this meeting? That's so funny. I guess it's just me running this now. All right, I'm not sure what happened to him. I don't think he's in here. So that was the end of the Kahoot. I hope you guys all enjoyed the Kahoot. My dad had a couple of announcements for our next sessions, but while we wait for him, I want to go over our website and do a small tour of our site for you guys. So here I am on my computer on Google. It's just 3doshas.com. Here is how our site looks. This is our logo. There actually is a meaning of this logo. That crown over there are that we purposely chose a crown because 1, 2, 3, the 3 doshas, right? And basics of living. Over here, you can just have more information about what we do. We're gonna have our forms down here so you can sign up for the next session. It's built in on our platform. You can directly fill it on here. Click submit. Right now, our other co-founder and is working, who's my older brother, Sujay, he's working on building a way where we can, instead of doing a Google form, filling it out and getting an email, you click a button and instantly you get the Zoom link. So it's gonna be more efficient for y'all. So hopefully that's something that would be helpful. If you want to oh, my dad's in the waiting room. Should I let him in or should I just let him be there and let him be sad? I'm gonna let him in. Okay, yeah. So if you want to contact us again, please, please, please reach out to us for questions. It's info.3doshas@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to me, I take care of collaborations or interviews or possible company partners. So if you know anyone that'd be interested, they can email me. It's sachin.3doshas@gmail.com. Here's our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. We're at 6 subscribers. We're really in our early days. Here's an example video my dad did. Here's our social media. You can follow us. Just click on this and it'll open you to our accounts. So here it is. And then also there's Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. And we also have a LinkedIn page. And one thing cool, we have our first company partner. They're Varanium from India. And we actually do have an interview video with the CEO and co-founder. So you can check that out right here. Ignore the Slack advertisement. I mean, I do love Slack, but let's just wait for this. Okay, yeah, here is our video. So you can check this out as well through our site. And then meet our team. So here is our team. Right now, it's just all Sayals. Hopefully in the future, we can maybe hire a team, see what we have. So here's like our descriptions of what we are. If you want to look at our LinkedIn, you can just click over here. It'll bring you to our LinkedIns. If you want, you can reach out to me through there, or you can also just email sachin.3doshas@gmail.com. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to pass it on to Dad. Dad, we're not sure what happened. If you got kicked out or anything, but don't worry about it.
No, thanks, Sachin. This was fun. I'm so glad I had you with me because I couldn't have made it fun. And if any of you are interested in working with us and making this more interactive, I think, you know, more ideas, more thinking always helps. Sachin has given me a lot of inspiration on how to make this fun. He's trying to explain to me how this is going to work for the younger generation. If there are people that are passionate about this topic, they want to work with us, we are going to meet and talk about how we're going to grow this community and how we're going to make this more fun and interactive for everybody. So please reach out to Sachin if you have ideas or if you want to collaborate with us.
Awesome. Again, yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. I know this is an international call, right? We have people from Canada, India, US. For the people that are locally, maybe in Fremont, maybe in like a couple months after you guys keep coming back to this. Right now, we're still trying to get that ice breaking, right? Icebreaker to get everybody to know each other. So everybody should like know it. I should see Mr. Buck Johan and I should know him completely. I should know a lot about him. That's the whole goal. So we all are a connected community, right? We know each other. Maybe we'll create a Slack so you guys can communicate with each other. And then there'll be public channels where we can discuss things. Again, thanks so much for attending, and maybe we can do an in-person meetup after COVID is not as bad. We can meet up maybe with our masks somewhere, somehow in a couple of months after you guys keep attending. We will email everyone that's on this call. I'm going to take a small screenshot. You filled out the Google form, so I'll get your email through that, and we'll keep you posted on announcements, updates for the company, and then just our next sessions. And again, we are working on finding a way where you click the button and the Zoom link comes to you. So you won't have to worry, maybe not the next session, but maybe after that, but you won't have to worry about filling out a form and then getting an email and all that stuff. It'll go directly to you. So thank you guys so much for coming. Everyone, if you want, you can just turn on your cameras. That would be beautiful, and just show everybody who you are, how you look. If you want, you don't have to, if you don't feel comfortable doing so. And yeah, thanks everyone for attending, and have an amazing, I hope I know it's Saturday. Yeah, I was gonna say if I said the day wrong, that would look so bad. Happy Saturday, guys. Enjoy your day. Have a great day, and thanks for coming, everyone. Bye.